Mayi aveshya. See, no, not similar. Upasate is Vasanam karoti. Okay. So thinks about, meditates on. That is the meaning of Upasate. But Mayi aveshya, Vishadat, Vishadat, okay, Pravishati, etc. Entering into me, having entered into me means what? They're keeping me as a goal and thinking of me, committed to me. There's a better word. Committed to me. Okay, that's better. Okay, see here. What does translation say? Fixing the mind upon me. They meditate upon. Meditating is different. Fixing the mind upon me is different. My aveshya is fixing the mind upon me, and then upasate is meditating upon. Okay.
Shraddhaya parayaha upetaha. So parayaha upetaha is
So, upeta. Upeta means imbued with, like Rasagulla is imbued with the sugar syrup, like that. Upeta. And imbued with what? Floating in what? Paraya Shraddhaya. Unshakable Shraddha. Paraya, not Parayaha, okay? Paraya. Tritiya Vibhakti Ekavachana.
oh.
It's an adjective.
Saturated.
Saturated, correct. Saturated with Shraddha. I'm a chemical engineer. I'm supposed to know all these things. Saturated, that word is, we used to talk about saturated solution. Thanks for the reminder. Yeah. So Paraya Shraddhaya Vetaha Nitya Yuktaha Te Yuktatamaha. All this is Samanadikaram. Mataha.
So paraya. Okay. Paraya and upeta is okay. Swara sandhi.
Swarasandhi. Correct.
Titration.
Paraya Upetaha.
And you mentioned, I'm paraphrasing that, the saguna and nirguna cannot happen together, right? Is that what you said? That one is a stepping stone for the other, and both cannot be. But I get it. I get that. But when we see Mahatmas, we know that they know, but yet they are very comfortable in, in the Saguna platform, right? So, is it that after you know who you are, everything is, I can't even form my question. There is no other. No, what I'm okay, now I get it. Okay, so a Mahatma who knows, but how does he teach his students that follow Saguna and then come to Nirguna? Is that how it works?
So you're talking about a Mahatma, a Jnani. How does the person teach this particular Bhagavad Gita, for example? Right? From Saguna to Nirguna, is that your question?
Correct. Yes.
Does he teach like that? Like that you're asking, right?
Yes.
So it's not that complicated. Maybe the way I said it, it became complicated. I hope I did not confuse everyone. All of us have bhakti, and that bhakti is called Saguna Brahma Bhakti. Ishvara Bhakti. Ishta Devata Bhakti. And then maybe Vishwarupa. As we study Vishwarupa, now that we know, we've listened to so much, yeah, it's possible. Panchamaha Yajna, all that is there. So Panchamaha Yajna is important. Because Devata, we can worship any Devata. So rain devata is there, Varuna devata, everything we can do. So we are now very aware. Our bhakti is now everywhere we can invoke that bhakti. Correct? Even in people who are inimical to us, we can. We are not, even though we don't like situations like that, whether it is a family, within the family, or corrupt leaders, etc., we accept. Sada Buddhi is there. Everything is a manifestation of Bhagavan. You know that. So Sagunam is very clear to everybody. In fact, Sagunam does not require any explanation at all to most people, right? This is Sagunam, this life. And we've grown up in this culture. So Sagunam is clear. And so, yes, that now we are going towards Nirgunam, because Jnanam means Nirgunam has to come. Bhakti alone means stop with Sagunam. Vaikuntham becomes important, Vishnu becomes important, Shivaloka, going to some place becomes. So, therefore, Nirgunam becomes important in our study. Correct? Nirgunam becomes. So now tell me what your question is.
No, sorry. So you said that both don't exist at the same time, right? Is that what you said?
Okay, so you're thinking about that statement I made, which said Saguna Bhakti and Nirguna Bhakti cannot coexist, cannot be there at the same time. Something like that, I said.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the reason I said that is, see, when you're thinking of Krishna, you cannot think of Shiva, correct? When you're thinking of Shiva, you can't think of Lalita or Sharada. When you're thinking of Sharada, Saraswati, you're not thinking of Lakshmi. Navaratri, you're imbued with the Nava. So Devis are all there. Lakshmi, Saraswati, Durga. Okay. There is no place for Krishna in this time, in the 90s. Nobody, you go to anybody's house, they're not going to, they may chant a sloka, do some child may do this, all that they may do, that's all fine. But no place, guys, you come later, okay? You don't, this is not your time, right? Okay, guys, means Shiva, I'm referring to Shiva and Krishna. You just stay away from here. Why? Because they're two different things. Devi is different and Devaha is different. They're two different. Bhagavan is different, Bhagavati is different. So whenever there is something like that, it's all there, but it's different. Everybody has a specific time, place. Okay. Now, with Saguna and Nirguna also, okay, we are all understanding Nirgunam Brahma, all right? Saguna Bhakti is very much there. Saguna life is very much there. Saguna Dhyanam is there. Approaching Nirgunam. Okay. When the Jnanam happens, when knowledge takes place, what does the knowledge do? It takes away Dvaita completely. It uproots Dvaita. And when Advaita is uprooted, Advaita Drishti is there, but still all transactions are Dvaita. All prayers are Dvaita. Body is separate from everything else is Dvaita. So transaction, Vyavaharikam is happening very much even for the Jnani. But Jnani's Vyavaharikam is Abhasa Vyavaharikam. Abhasa because that person knows very well there is no division at all. Exactly like we say sunrise, tomorrow sunrise is 6:15, we have to get up before sunrise. If you say, hey, you already told me yesterday that sun doesn't rise, now you are talking about sunrise and all, what happened to you? No, nothing happened to you. You are a sunrise jnani, you are a planetary system jnani, solar system jnani, but it doesn't stop you from following the edicts of sunrises and sunsets. Because life has to move on. This life means this body's life has to go on. This human being's life has to go on. And I'm not fooled by the fact that I enjoy sunrise. I can enjoy sunrise knowing full well that the sun will not rise. Therefore, this is important. This is not your question is good. And therefore we say, either you know sun doesn't rise or you know sun rises. Paramarthically, if I can use that word. You cannot know two different things. Either you know sun doesn't rise or you don't know that sun doesn't rise. Both cannot coexist. Both cannot coexist. Activities are there assuming sun rises. That is okay. That is abhasa. That's why we say abhasa. Abhasa means what? You are superimposing your activity on your knowledge. You're taking sunrise to be real, even though you know it's not real. That is the content. I had all that in mind when I said that statement. It's a loaded statement, all right? A loaded statement. Any follow-up questions, Swapna?
No, I'm just thinking, it must be a good place to be.
I'm thinking maybe I should not have made the statement. Sometimes we should say things that may cause, but that's what it is. It's not difficult.
Yeah.
It's not a very technical statement. There may be some technicalities there.
Yeah. No, it's not that we've not covered this. Yeah. Dhanyavada.
Prasadji, go ahead.
Mahodaya, I'm just reminding you that
Panchamahayajna, and one more thing is there, I think. No, thumbs up. Okay, Panchamahayajna. Correct.
Yeah.
I had it in mind the other day. You have managed to put the seed in my head, so it's there.
Okay.
Whenever I see you, I'm thinking of Panchamahayajna.
Okay.
So
Thank
it's
you.
let's look for a good opportunities. If there is a June, I'll do that. So we'll find a time. I don't know. There is no common time between Upanishad and class in this class. No, there's no common time. Like Nirgunam Brahma and Sagunam Brahma, they don't coexist. So like that. Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita cannot happen at the same time. Okay, we'll do it.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yeah, so go ahead.
You asked Maheshji to remember something, the question of yesterday.
Correct. Maheshji was asking a question. He is talking about fear, how we all grew up with fear. And if you don't worship, if you don't chant your pujas, then God will come and he will do something to you which you don't like. Okay. And he will take away one of your eyes. All these things we've heard. Depending on that's also a cultural thing. This is also very cultural because everybody seems to say the same thing also. So that parampara is there. This fear parampara is there. Bhaya parampara. And so his question was, therefore, Maheshji, if you want to summarize your question. We got the explanation, just the question.
Yeah, the question was, we said bhakti, I thought, at least I understood, my experience have been all instilled in when we are young as a fear, not as a love, affection, or something. So the context yesterday on the last class, when you said, out of fear we do, I don't know, or we do bhakti because we want something like arti or tharti, not
Right.
for anything. It is, we
Right.
never, at least in my understanding, or at least nobody goes to the temple and say, thank you very much for who I am, everything you have done to me. No. We always keep on asking, Pautra, Veshtam, Dhanam, Dhanyam, etc., etc. So,
Yeah, so that is the question. The question is more a comment than a question. And such a wonderful relationship that we nurture between ourselves and Bhagavan, right? What a relationship it is. And it's a permanent relationship. All other relationships are impermanent. This is the only relationship that is permanent. Therefore, it's important we nurture it. And Maheshji's concern is, how fear was used as a tool to make us bhaktas. Yeah. But I will argue that the same fear was used to make me study also. The same fear was used to make me wash my hands before having food. And the same fear was used to eat all these vegetables. I hate these vegetables, but you are supposed to eat. Otherwise, I'll become like this. Okay. So everywhere fear is used. Everywhere fear is used.
maybe that was the reason for what do you call parakshis.
Huh?
I'm saying that may be the reason, because once somebody is fearful of someone, you better keep that person away from you. Okay, he's somewhere else. So,
Yeah. It was used to be. Correct. Now we have to separate the fear from what is being said. That is our job as an adult. Every psychologist will tell you. See, when a patient goes to a psychologist and wants advice, I have all these emotional problems, families like this and all, we go and tell them. They will give you some insights. Yeah. They'll give you some insights. After some time, if the person keeps saying the same thing, my mother did it, my father did it, my wife did it, my husband did it, you know what the psychologist should say? I don't know if they will say or not. They will say, it's time for you to grow out of it. They should say it. You can't hang on to that. I told you this is how things are. Yeah, yes, that person did a problem. Yes, you were abused, agreed. But we are trying to come out of it. And we have to come out of it. You should be coming out of it, because it's been 3 years now since you've been talking like this. It's time to come out of it. You can't. That is a hangover. This hangover has to go sometime. The true psychologist will say, come out of it. That's it, over. That means what? In our case, yes, Bhaya was used to make us do all these things. Studying onwards, everything Bhaya is there. But we don't know very well the value of whatever, study, games, and relaxation. Everything has a value in our life. And so we know the value. It all came through some other means, but we know the value. So we just separate the two out. So bhakti is bhakti. It came this way, came that way. Yeah, correct. And so that is also why, because it came through the wrong method, when we become adults, we say, because you told me like this, I'm not going to go to the temple. Because you said it,
not only that, I mean, there is no formal way of growing out of it, right? Unless somebody enrolls in a study like this.
Only one way. Only one way. Only one way.
Yeah.
Shravanam is the only way. Shastram is the only way. That's the only way. There's no other way. There's no other way. That's why Shashana Trayate iti Shastram. The word Shastram itself tells us, by telling you what you should know, it protects you. That is the meaning of Shastra. There's only one way, Maheshji. That is it. You said it. There's only one way. Everything else is a palliative. Palliative, it's just a painkiller. Pain is there, source of problem is there. We put some Tylenol or some paracetamol, etc., and then you relieve yourself of it. Everything else is a palliative. Correct. Sooner or later, Shastram has to come to our lives. That is the only Shastram, is only the Veda Mata only can free us completely. By saying you're already free, look at that. Finally, by saying you're already free, my dear friend, that's an even bigger beauty.
I mean, if you look at the Abrahamic religions, I mean, especially I realized this after coming to the US. I mean, you have lived in Houston, Jacomas, but I don't know about other places, but there will be so many billboards when you drive. You say Jesus loves you and all that, because they want to come to the church because do not don't avoid church for fear. That is the message they are trying to say. They are all love, affection, and in our culture also there are people who teach us, love and affection in a different way. So maybe I'm thinking maybe we had that influence over a period of time, that fear from other religions or something, and somehow that got it. It is okay when you are elementary school kid or very young, but then we kind of carry that baggage all through the adult life unless we make a commitment to learn Shastra.
So, of course, we are not generalizing, because I know many families where they're very mature, they do not use fear at all. They always give the freedom to their children, and within boundaries, freedom is always given. And sometimes you wonder, oh, this, are you okay with that? Yeah, I'm okay. That's what he wants to do. She wants to do. So what, like that they say. So I've seen families like that. And even when it comes to dharma, religion, even there also, okay, if you don't want to come to the temple, I'll go there, just take care of the house anyway, after 2 hours. I've seen many families like that also. So they have a very mature outlook towards children, and not forcing children. They're very alert, aware of it. So we do give credit to all of that. And so I think that's definitely helpful, because the children will not have any hangover. They don't, otherwise this hangover is very impossible to get rid of this hangover. Emotional problems just ruin our lives, We may be adult physically, but emotionally we are still children. Very sad it is. And so I personally believe that we have to educate our children, if not parents. Parents may or may not be educatable. Children in school, in college, they should be taught all these things. So they are at least aware. In the US, you know what they say? They have things like they sensitize children to abuse from parents. It's very interesting when I found, now if parents are physically beating their children, they say immediately call some number, some 911 or some number is there. You have to call a number, and the cops will pick up. And immediately, that's it. If the call goes from a child, immediately the cops will be at the door. And the state has the right to take over this child. It's amazing. And so, yeah, that's one extreme. Hopefully, families don't need that kind of stuff, but that's a reality. So that is why I also feel there is no escape. Everybody must be religious, minimum, because Bhagavan, at least Bhagavan is there. I must have a feeling that I can at least surrender to him, because nothing is working out for me. That feeling, that outlet must be there. Otherwise, there's no sanity. There's no place for sanity.
Yeah, because normally in any person, you think of Ishvara or Bhagavan or someone only when you get into a problem. As long as everything is going good, especially when you are young, you are invincible, right? So only when you get into roadblocks, or then only they say, hey, why did it happen? I mean, yeah, all I'm saying is that, because of that, somewhere, I don't know, we don't have a methodology, I mean, what do you call it? If a stage or something where we teach children, or not children, even young adult, to grow out of that fear, what they were accustomed to when they were young. That never happens. I mean, so they just carry on. I mean, that's what I've seen in many places. So,
Yeah. So one more thing. So suppose we studied past high school, past college, and got a job, etc. etc. Now we don't think back and say, my mother forced me to study, work hard, etc.
yeah,
We don't have that kind of a complaint. I think she did it all for my good only. He did it all for my good only. So that goes away. That fear should go away. And if that fear extends, I mean, that fear can manifest as perfectionism and things like that. There are some emotional issues which can bind us. And to a large extent, we hope that we pray that it's a good kind of fear that made us do what we did. And so if it can be excessive, can become excessive, and it can manifest as a lifelong bondage for the person. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, if bhakti could be taught as more of a affection, and Ishvara is close to you, and things like that. I thought,
Yes, which is what is
children
happening,
may,
which is why we have children's classes and things like that. So there's an external source comes and then
but
reveals a lot of things, and so the children get empowered. Children have to be empowered. When they're empowered, then nothing can stop them. Even parents cannot shake them. They will get back to parents. No, this is not what my teacher told me. Every child will look for an opportunity to say that.
yeah, I mean, the classical example is Jagamaji, and I don't know about you. I mean, when I was in school, at least in elementary school or middle school, we were all used to be afraid of our teachers. I mean, right? Because he used to beat students and all that. I don't know, maybe your time it changed, I don't know, but it used to be there. But it's just the opposite in this country. Right from kindergarten, your teacher is your confidante or something, and children tells everything to them. Whereas in India, at least when I grew up, it was more of a fear, more of a, I mean, the respect comes out of fear, not out of love. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, all that well taken. And so that shows we have our work cut out for us. We have a long way to go in the sense. If that's how the society is today, that means we have not really done a good job at all. We are just doing the same old.
I don't know the society today because I'm a little bit out in India at least. I don't know.
Yeah. So we have to. I mean, these days I hear children, teachers can't just get away with, what they used to get away those days. These days I hear that. And so I think that problem is probably reduced since our times, PhD. But now a different set of problems are there. Children, they are doing whatever their attention span is dropping rapidly. And so they lack role models. Teaching is all dry and again rote, and except for a few schools. So there is a different set of problems. So I don't know how our system is taking care of all that.
When I moved to this country, one incident happened to my friend. I mean, in the line you just explained a few minutes ago. We always, I mean, in India, when you spank a child is not considered very bad or something. Okay, misbehaving or something, spank. So here, one of my friends who came with me to the US, I mean, they're around the same time, his wife spanked his daughter, something she did as like that. And it was over. Children. Monday, when you go to the school, the teacher, hey, sweetie, how was your weekend and all that? Said, yeah, my mom beat me up. So, and within few hours, CPS people were in their house to take away the child. And we have to explain, our neighbors have to go and explain the situation. So that is another extreme. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So,
fair enough. It's an extreme. Yeah,
so-
it gets pushed to the extreme. And that can be an extreme. So it's a tough balance. I don't claim this to be easy or anything. But that's another extreme. Another
yeah,
extreme.
what we took, what as a child we endured, we at least back in India at that time considered it was okay to do to your child. We have to whole mindset have to
Okay,
change.
see, we also knew those days also. My teacher also, we were afraid that one particular teacher would pinch us. He would pinch us right below the, here. If he's coming close to you itself, you kind of shrink like this. And we had all that experience. Somehow we have survived. They had good intentions. That's the saving grace.
You're right.
They're not abusers. They're not supposed to be incarcerated. Not that kind of people they are. Not good habit. But still, the question is, did they have good intent? Because the system is not helping us anyway. It has gone to the other extreme. So we have the right to analyze it further and see what's best for us. We don't condone any kind of abuse. We don't condone that at all. But we can't stop anything from happening either. And so, does the parent have good intentions or not? Or are there chronicle abusers? I think friends will know that, correct?
Yeah.
Like you said, the friends came and spoke. And so, if they would have probably said, no, it's
They explained to them a little bit, oh, we are new here and here it's okay. All the cultural things and things like that. And finally, they said, oh, don't repeat it and all. He gave a warning and left. So, I mean, there are 2-3 people came. That is a shocking experience for all of us, which we have not. Later on we'll learn that it happens in many people. But again, the thing is that for it somehow get carried over from where we are, where when we go to another country or another place, it's a different playfield.
Yeah, even parents in those countries need to be educated. Parents with children, be careful, there are certain laws and it's to those. Yeah, very good. We'll stop with this. Thank you. Thank you, Anuradha ji and Mahesh ji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalashahastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trailokyanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha.